Hi everyone. So recently I switched from Apple Watch Ultra to Whoop, and a lot of people on Twitter and even some people in the last video also asked me about the experience with Whoop. I know it's popular outside but not as much as in India, and because of that subscription part most of the people don't even want to purchase something which is not theirs. But I still want to talk about like where it makes sense, where you can stop wearing it, or is it even worth it at this time, or you should wait for the newer version. I mean, it was supposed to come, I think, last year. Maybe this will come this year. So let's talk about everything. So this is basically a band which have a very small device which you can open like this, and you'll be able to see like it is such a small device. These bands you can change easily. You have a lot of options. They are expensive, but you can find third-party ones. So the idea behind this Whoop is this is going to be your 24/7 monitoring device. We'll talk about the app because that is the main part, but this is a simple device that you can wear all the time. This is waterproof and you get this wireless charger. So the idea is like you just basically attach it and it'll start charging. So you can wear it. It usually takes 2 hours from 0 to 100, but it's basically you can wear it outside as well. It's not going to pollute as much. So in case your battery is low, you can keep this with you. You can keep this on charge. The problem with this thing is that it loses battery even when you're not using. So how I use it, I keep it charged when this is done 100%. I put it on charge. So this is 100% charge. So I charge my Whoop every second day or third day, so that even if it has like 70 to 80% battery left, it will make it 100% and it will last for 3 more days. But total it usually lasts for 4 days, 4+ most of the time. But if you do a lot of activity, 4 days is good enough. Yes, it should have been a little bit more, but since it's 100% time, like it's recording your activity, I think it kind of works. But I think the newer version might have a better battery life. So basically you need to wear it all the time. It tracks your sleep. That is basically the whole part of this data based on your recovery. And the great part is it's recording your heart rate all the time and other information as well. So even if you don't record anything on the app, you can later add that stuff. But we will talk about that when we talk about the app. So now let's talk about the app. So I'll start with the widget. You have this widget, you have some smaller widget as well. So if you can just go and directly go to the app. In the iPhone, I think I like that widget a little bit better. I think it's more refined, but you have the option, you can connect it anywhere. My Whoop is connected to my Android phone, but you can get the data anywhere. You just won't see the battery as you can see here. So I'll keep this aside and we can go in the app and I'll walk you through like what it can actually do, because I've been wearing it for 30 days, as I think I can show you here with my level. So I have recorded 30 recoveries. I'll tell you what that is, but it's been 31 days. Let me just zoom in so I don't have to. You'll be able to see it better, hopefully. So let's go to the home page. Apart from that, on the top section, you will usually see 4 parameters. So these 4 parameters are like, what is your recovery, how much strain you can take for that particular day, what is your sleep performance, and what is HRV. So HRV is basically heart rate variability between every single heartbeat. That is different for every person, so you don't need to compare it with anyone else. It's basically tracked for first 7 days just to see like where your range is, and then it will give you these 5 parameters based on your health. So basically, like, what is your respiratory rate, what is your blood oxygen, your resting heart rate, the HRV which we talked about, and your skin temperature. And usually the idea is like these are green, then that means you're normal. If your temperature is changing or you're getting a fever, you'll usually see something here. If your body is taking too much strain and not able to recover, you'll be able to see in the HRV it is going to go low because your heart will be doing a lot of work. See, one thing, I am not a health expert, so I'm just going to give you the data which I understand as much, but take that as you want. So the next part is the stress monitor. This is also something that you won't take very seriously unless like you're always in that yellow zone. That means your heart rate is doing so much work. I am usually in a low or medium zone, so that works for me. But sometimes if I'm really anxious or I'm stressed about something, you'll be able to see it's higher. So that means it will tell you every single day like how much time you have spent in that, and you can easily see the trend, like how that basically works. Most of the time I am not very stressed, but one of my friend is like in almost in the high stress zone. So even if it doesn't do any sort of strain activities, you'll be able to see his body taking a lot of strain. Apart from that, I really like this my day option. This will tell you like how was my day, how much my recovery was, and overall like how my performance is going on. And if I have more strain capacity, it'll tell you what kind of exercise I can do to achieve that, which is really nice because you always like the recommendation and what you can do and you can't. So it has a lot of data. It also has AI built in, so if you want to know like what can I do to improve my sleep, I'll tell you why I'm talking about my sleep. So it will tell you basically the information, and it's basically like chat GPT sort of stuff. So you can ask more question around the same stuff. You don't have to repeat stuff. It'll give you a great answer. So it'll tell you in my on my basis, like I usually use a lot of device time when I'm in bed. So it will always ask me to limit my screen, and I'll tell you in another part as well why that's the case. So after that, it will tell me my today's activity. So I slept decent amount of sleep. I usually don't get that much sleep, but yeah, it will tell me like how my sleep performance was. So I slept around 12:40 a.m. and then woke up at 9 a.m. because it was Saturday. So my hour of sleep was really good today. And it will also tell me like what kind of sleep zone I was in. Did have a good sleep. It would also tell me like how much time I move. So this basically after 1.6 hour I usually make a move, so something like that. And this is my sleep efficiency, my respiratory rate. So this is how it's tracked, and it's a good indicator. Apart from that, I can just basically add my activities. I will come to the activity later because there are multiple ways to record it and it does some on itself. So let's go. And after that, you can even set your sleep schedule and what sort of sleep that you want. So basically, I want to peak my sleep. So basically, I want to have the best recovery possible. So it'll tell me what is the best time to go to the bed. So I usually try to wake up around 8:30 or before. So it asks me to sleep like this because I have done weightlifting. So it's going to tell you how much sleep that you actually need depending upon last time as well. You can even set alarm. So it will vibrate. That's the only thing it does. If you want to wake up on time whenever your sleep is complete. You can also change it like if you just want to 85%, like basically do enough to get through the day and that sort of stuff. And then there's your simple dashboard, which we talked about, your HRV that I usually track, your sleep performance, your steps. Also, this is in beta. I think it was recently introduced in Whoop. This was not based on step tracking. A lot of health bands are, but this is like a side thing because that doesn't usually tell you everything. But if you're someone who wants step tracking, it is there. And then this is the graph I usually refer to, that how much recovery I've done and how much strain I can do, which you can see in another section as well. But this is a much better graph to see. Sometimes I'm good recover, so I can push myself a little bit. Sometimes I am not very recovered, and this mostly happens when I didn't get enough of my sleep. So this is the page. Apart from that, you will always see this plus button where you can go live, you can do journal. We will come to the journal later. And the strength trainer part, this is something that I use. I can create my workout. So let's suppose I'm doing some sort of leg. So there are two ways to start it. One, you can just start the workout. The problem with that is you'll have to pause and log every single set that you do, which I find really lazy. I have to have my phone in the gym, so I don't usually do that. So what I do is I let it track the heartbeat, and when I'm done with the gym, if I have the workout created, I just set it for that particular time and it calculates everything based on the weight I used. So that's how I do it, and it works really great for me. And you will find most of the exercise, like let's suppose if you want to set up a new workout, you can do it, and there are tons of exercise that you can add. So I find it really good. You also have some Whoop workout people have created already that you can use, and sometimes I use them, but most of the time I do my custom workout. And then there is an option for add activity. Add activity is something that the heart rate was tracked, but it was not able to add the activity. Let's suppose you took a nap. That's an activity, but it might not be able to track it for 15 minutes. But if you want to do it, it will help you with your recovery. You can do that. The same goes with sometimes you're walking and it's not able to add that. Doesn't happen all the time, but you can do it, and then you just have to. The great thing about this is you will always have that hard data, so it's easier. But if you know what you're going to do in the head, you can just start the activity. You can track the route if you want. It will take your phone GPS because it doesn't have inbuilt GPS, and you can just select the activity that you're going to start and it will track it. You can also set the strain target as well, and it will remind you that you have reached the strain target. If you click on the today activity section arrow, you'll be able to see your heart rate for the 24 hours. So you will have that peak, and you can set your activity based on when you see your heart rate was really high. So like I said, this is a 24/7 device, so it will always track your data. If you want to add more information, you can add that later. Even if you go back, you can add for the previous day or the previous day. So this is really easy. So Whoop is all about the data. Apart from that, there is a plan section. Plan, you can basically choose what do you want to do: boost fitness, feel better, or like you just want to sleep better. You can also create a custom plan. Then there is an insight section. This section is based on a journal. So every time you wake up next day, it is going to pop up with the questions, the journal that you created, which you can go here. So if you open it, there are a lot of questions. So if you go like this, you can literally select a lot of stuff. So let's suppose I've selected if I have bloating, my energy level, my fever. You can also track like your sickness, you had caffeine, did you go outside, did you talk to your family, that sort of stuff. So there are a lot of options. It also records some sort of medication if you're having some sort of vitamins, everything it records. And when you have, it does have enough data, when you track like yes or no and the amount, it will tell you like what will help you with your recovery and what doesn't. In my case, like if I consistently wake up on the right time, it's working for me. If I make progress in some sort of project which I make me excited, maybe that also works for me. Sometimes work calls doesn't work for me, so in this case, like it is impacting my recovery in a negative way. So that's what plan is, and in the overview it will tell you how much recovery you had, what is your optimal day strain. So the strain is from 0 to 21. I don't know why that 21 number, but that's how it works. So yeah, this is your information. If you want to go like how your weekly performance was, you can get it, and even you can just export it out to show it to your friend. It will give you the whole graph. So let me see if it comes. So yeah, this was my day strain. This is my consistency, average day strain. So every information that happened for the last week, how did I sleep, you can get everything out of it. Apart from that, there's a community section. You can join a lot of groups. I have a team caffeine. We also created one with me and my partner. It's easier for us to know like how much strain did we have, the recovery, the sleep. So that sort of stuff, it works for us. Let's go back to the home page. We talked about the sleep. Now we talk about the recovery. Recovery is calculated based on what sort of activity did you did, how's your cardio activity, but it always tracks based on your night sleep, your heart rate variability, your resting heart rate, your respiratory rate. So the thing is, if you work out really hard and if you didn't get enough sleep, this is going to tell you that this is not a great recovery. So let's suppose yesterday I did not have a good recovery. I did not sleep well. So if you see for yesterday, my sleep was just 2 hours for 52 minutes and I was supposed to sleep for a long time. I was doing video editing stuff. So yeah. So it will tell you that you can't take a lot. And that's how it will tell you like how your recovery is. And based on that, you can decide like how much strain you can have. And which brings me to the strain part. Like I said, it calculates between 0 to 21. And based on your recovery that day, it will tell you how much you can push yourself. For me, I'm close to my optimal strength, which was around 15 because my recovery was really good. So I can push a bit more if I want, but I don't have to because I can get the next day recovery really well. And most of the time, when you have a good recovery and less strain, you will feel more energy, and it kind of works. You don't have to like take it very seriously, but the data always helps like what works for you and what doesn't. So we talked about the community, and in the more section, you'll see the information about the membership, and we'll talk about that, like how that works. Apart from that, like I said, you can even set your goals. I set for optimal performance. You can do it based on how you like. So this is basically Whoop is all about. It's all about data and how do you want to consume it, because like they keep improving and adding stuff that helps you. So it's not about the hardware. Hardware is basically free. Now the question is, should you buy it? If yes, for how long? Because in a lot of countries you can have monthly plan, and in some countries you have to like pay for 12 months directly. That's how I got it, but I got it in discount. So I think it's a really good way of tracking your health without getting distracted with the smart screen. If you don't want to use a smartwatch, the battery life is still better than a smartwatch. Most of the smartwatch, we're not talking about Garmin here. In that sort of way, I can actually recommend it, and I can also tell you, I think for 1 year it's a really good investment. At least you'll be able to understand your body a little bit better. After that, you don't have to pay for your subscription. But if you really think that is helping you, how you live, what works for you, like let's suppose you drink alcohol, and how the alcohol works in the next day of their recovery, so you know like what works and what doesn't work for you. I used to think that caffeine doesn't work for me and it doesn't improve my recovery, but after wearing this and seeing the data, I think the caffeine doesn't impact my recovery at all. So it's easier for me to now have caffeine even if I want to do a little late. Yes, sometimes it affects my sleep sometimes, but like it doesn't really have a negative impact on my recovery, so I can just drink that stuff very easily. I love caffeine. So like that is the you'll be able to understand your body better, and then you can just not renew your subscription. But if it is working for you and if you want to track your data but you don't want any sort of distracting device, it's a great tool. You can continue using it. See, it's been only 31 days for me, so I can't tell whether I'm going to renew the subscription. Depending upon after 4 5 months, maybe that's more than enough. But me and my partner are both loving it. It's very minimal, like it doesn't protrude, and in your daily life you won't even feel it. The strap is really good. So having something that tracks your data all the time really helps you. But yeah, it's your decision. I am not saying that I'm supporting the subscription model. It's just something that I wanted for a long time, not to have a screen, have a better battery life that I can just wear and not worry about it, which this is the only device that is giving me, and I don't see any other device that works that well. I think for a lot of people something like Aura ring might work. I can't wear rings, like I can't wear jewelry, I don't like them, so that doesn't work, and also it's not available in India. So yeah, that was my experience with Whoop. Let me know it was helpful for you and if there is any question. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.